Joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known.
You may be seated. Well, it is this wonderful time of Lent. And for our first Lent Sunday, we'll be following along with our Lent booklet. If you haven't gotten a copy, it's right on the table out there. Pick one up, it's free. It's titled In the Garden, Lent 2025. So for our first Sunday, we're in the garden. What a good place to be. The garden that gives us sustenance and beauty. The garden that is a place that's instilling peace and natural stuff in our lives. I start with this passage from Scripture. Now, this story about Jesus is in all four Gospels. That means it's important. So this is Matthew chapter 26, verse 36 to 38. Then Jesus went with them to a place called Gethsemane. And he said to his disciples, "Sit here while I go over there and pray." Then he said to them, "I am deeply grieved, even to death. Remain here and stay awake with me." This is quite beautiful. It's a lesson from our master teacher Jesus of how to face difficult situations in our lives. And I must say, I've been to Jerusalem, and going to the Holy Lands, I had many wonderful experiences. And one of the most profound ones I had was visiting the Garden of Gethsemane. It's distance, it's on a rise, it's above and separated from the city. It's a quiet place. And you walk into this garden and it's green and there's olive trees. There's actually an olive tree that is gnarled and it's 2,000 years old. And I broke down and cried for the profound peace and connection I felt. And that's what gardens do. Gardens have the capacity to not just be, "Oh, I got some work to do, there's some weeding, and I can't believe it's all growing so fast." Gardens also give us peace and an ability to center ourselves. And we're certainly here in South Central Texas, immersed in a huge garden. The red buds are in bloom. And the mountain laurels are coming out. And the mustard's growing. And you know what's coming soon? Yes, the bluebonnets. The bluebonnets will be here before we know it. But this is the land of wildflowers. And we love that. So, integral in this is a message from Jesus that at times we need to go apart a while to pray, to collect ourselves. There's also in this a time where we ask for help, for support, because we don't have to do it all alone. And there's also in this that it's good to find people we trust to share our feelings. What are we feeling? And that helps us not feel alone. Doug Dewar is recognizable to many people in this congregation because he came and served here for a while there was an interim between Reverend Karen and myself coming. But he's written in our Lent booklet on page 7 some good wisdom. And he says, "The Lenten season offers us a sacred time to let go of what no longer serves us much like clearing away the old growth and the weeds in the garden. So if we are metaphysically a garden, what do we need to pull up by the roots? What do we need to clear out? What do we need to sweep out of our consciousness so that we can live with more peace and love and patience? He goes on to say, it is a period of reflection and release, making the way for abundant new plan and divine design. As we welcome this transformation, we surely will prosper a beautiful harvest within ourselves. So, spring, it's a time for new growth. It's a time for birthing new ideas. One of our congregants, Barbara Thomason, has published a book which was featured in the Herald Zeitung yesterday. Canier like author. Pretty girl. We can birth things. So what are you birthing in your life? What are some samples of what you're working to bring forth in this time? Anyone?
Peace.
Peace in your personal life and in the world. Beautiful. Forgiveness. It's powerful. And when we make it as a I'm forgiving, we find things to forgive. That's good. Anyone else?
Love.
Love. Bringing more love into your life. Trust in God. Thank you. All of these require our participation. We can choose it, but saying, I'm going to forgive, or I'm going to trust in God, or I'm going to be more loving, requires us to do something. It's a good idea, but then we've got to roll up our sleeves and we've got to do something that allows us to achieve that commitment. Quite beautiful. Thank you. Reverend Eric Butterworth, his books are amazing. And I've been teaching a class and we've been listening to his lectures, and this man was a wise man. And here he says, Lent can be a dynamic experience, not by what you give up as much as by what you take up. Now, if we focus on the give up, the letting go, what are we focused on? We're focused on the trash. We're focused on the recycling. But if we're focused on what we're taking up, peace, love, trust in God, forgiveness, then we are on the right track. We're already experiencing it. It's dynamic. To me, dynamic is fully alive. It's engaged. It's a reason to roll out of bed in the morning. Because I'm experiencing life on life's terms in my way. Not so much focused on what do I need to clean up, let go of, and release, but what do I want to grab? Where do I want to grow? How do I want to be different? What am I making space for? And then it's really easy to let go of stuff. Because if we need space, we need to create some space. Well, we can put that out. I can let go. I can forgive that. I can forgive myself as well. Reverend Ellen Davenport, she used to be the minister up here at Wimberley. She's now vice president at Silent Unity, and she's also contributed to the writings in our Lent booklet. And here she says, we don't have to be positive all the time. Shall we say it one more time? Nor do we have to handle problems alone. We can lean on other people, if only by asking them to be present with us. She goes on to say, we can talk about how we are feeling even when we are deeply grieved, even to death. We're fully human and fully divine, just as Jesus was. At Gethsemane, he shows us exactly what that looks like in the direst of circumstances. Now, it's a good metaphor, this in the garden, because a garden needs nurturance, needs water and sunlight, fertilizer, and we need food and rest and sunlight and water. And in that, we are in the right place. Oh, there you are. That little dentist drill up there is that screen vibrating when the wind's just right, and it only happens a couple of times a year, so I guess it's here for Lent. That's what that is. So go ahead, do your vibration. So back to this. This experience of Lent, this focuses on the last day of Jesus' freedom in the garden, just before he's arrested and executed. And we can recognize that we have been in dire situations before, where things just aren't working right. Or we made the wrong turn, or we made the bad decision, or. Anyone ever faced a difficult situation? If you don't raise your hand, clearly it's just too much work. It's human. We're going to have these experiences, but we do not have to do it alone. We are in a place, a community, and a space that no one needs to be left behind. And in the garden, if we don't take care of our garden, no one else is going to do it for us. Ever notice? If you're spending all of your time in someone else's garden, weeding their yard, fertilizing their yard, I'm talking about that internal, because I know exactly what you should do. Then what happens to my garden? It's neglected. And the only one that can take care of that is me. So as we do this Lenten journey, let's follow the teaching of our master teacher, Jesus. He said, go apart a while. Take some time to center yourself, to be in prayer. And when you're in a difficult situation, this is a good place to start, because we're already panicked and worried about something, to stop and become present. And sometimes that is requiring us to pull away from it, them, the stuff. But then Where we can get support, let's ask for support. This could be a prayer partner, it could be a friend, it could be a partner, it could be a stranger. Asking for support. This is our growing edge. Asking for help. We're real doers and beers and it's a lot. If I ask any of you for help, you're probably going to go, what can I do? But I say, how can I help you? Ask for support. And share your feelings. Now, this doesn't mean stand on the corner with a megaphone and broadcast it to everybody. This means choose a trusted friend, your partner, a family member, a sponsor, and share what's really going on. And when it's really difficult, those feelings are strong. The sorrow, the guilt, the shame, the anger can bubble up, and it's helpful to share those with another human being. These are the tools that we can use to navigate through challenging times. And this is the constant work, because in our life we are living a dynamic life. And in that dynamic life, we need to take care of our own garden. And so we've got some operating instructions. And let's spend this week in the garden. Thank you.